Yeah.
That was something, that was in the 40s, late 30s.
Okay, Velma, did you ever spend $5 on a pair of shoes since you were spoiled?
I wasn't that spoiled.
How about you?
Well, that was in the late 30s.
He might have been, he might have generation.
Yeah, that's in the turbulent era.
Oh, you're a baby, huh? Okay.
What we have to remember is that Larry's dad went to school with all these.
That's right.
Yeah.
School.
So the things he
Another
remembers aren't
generation.
necessarily
So
what we.
I'm at the tail end of this Oil Hill generation.
Oh, okay. Okay. We'll have to remember that, that man's name, that he was the baby.
Did someone say they had a Doherty Men's Fraternity calendar?
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Ooh.
Oh, we used that.
Someone has one of those that I've talked to.
That's the activities calendar.
You put out a
Yeah, we
calendar.
used,
No, it
everybody
wasn't
used that
activities.
page, you know. It had
What was
one
it?
page
It was
that-
just, it was a
It had one
calendar that had a
page
separate
with the city
page,
service
but
emblem.
had everybody's
Yeah,
birth, all the men who had birthdays that day were listed, and it was from all over. It wasn't
yeah.
just Oil
Yeah, we
Hill.
have a birthday calendar at the
Yeah, I think that's what she's
But
talking
this was, it was just one page.
Yeah. And you tore off the pages.
Those screw things, yeah, that held it on, and everyone used those pages to write their grocery lists, and they keep track of how many cattle were in which field.
And you saved the one with your dad's birthday
Yes,
on
you
it.
saved that one. But those were our scratch papers that day.
On the men's birthday, like on my husband's birthday, he would get a letter from, an envelope from, a number of different places with that calendar page in the, of his birthday, which is 15th of March. That would be in this little letter. I threw those away just not too long ago.
It's like just a
Well,
birthday card you get from them.
Yeah, so, yeah, you do.
And it was any place they'd ever worked, you know, because it was from all over anyway. It was a DMF person.
That calendar was really.
Now, this was a men's fraternity. Did the women have something?
They had an auxiliary, I think. didn't they?
Joined in all field.
Yeah.
There's a man named Henry Doherty that was, he's president of the oil company. So they formed, the employees formed a fraternity called the Doherty Men's Fraternity.
They
And
sponsored
had
the
their
dance.
dances and parties and gatherings there, and
Well, they had safety meetings there.
meetings of all
Okay.
kinds.
Okay.
So did that completely stop when people moved out of?
No, couldn't do
Did it
it.
turn into anything else? Because I know there's other groups.
Even for a while after everybody moved out, the Doherty Men's Fraternity Hall was still there. And we had, I know I wasn't quite old enough yet, but my husband was. They had senior citizens meeting there for a long time. And then we'd go there for a dinner and and we'd play bingo or something. So we still visited our Oil Hill friends in that way.
And
Well,
my
then
mother
they had
and dad
retirees
went to
there, didn't
meetings, yeah, they went to meetings there, and I have a picture of my mother and dad the day that my dad was given a watch for his service to the company. He was still working, and my mother has a big box of flowers that she was given at the same time. And that was,
a neat picture to have.
that was in,
My baby boy had just retired from this company, and it really isn't a company now.
Yeah.
He worked for him 33 years, but it's a sad, sad country we're in now.
He just retired from Echelon?
Now, what company did
Equilon wasn't.
He started with city service.
it was Empire first.
It was Empire and then City Service
And then
and
Citgo, C-I-T-G-O.
Citgo.
And then Occidental.
Occidental.
Okay.
Well, then they bought the stuff.
Who did he retire from? What company?
Occidental.
Okay. What do you see as a difference when you say it's sad?
Well, they just weren't the company they were.
That's just the sign of the times.
Sign of time, yeah, sign
See,
of
they put
time.
up the pool, they put up the golf course, tennis courts, all those things. City service did it all.
And they were free to the residents?
Well, I think it was a small charge, wasn't there?
free to the employees.
Employees.
Not necessarily residents, but of course the residents were employees.
Okay.
But that
Well, as
was,
far as the swimming pool was concerned, we had the swimming pool before there was a one in El Dorado, and I know Esther Cassabaum told me that when they lived at Oil Hill, that her friends got her to invite them out to go swimming in the Oil Hill
yeah,
pool.
we did invite people.
Oh, okay.
I was manager of that pool.
very popular. Everyone wanted to be your friend, didn't they? Oh, okay. Did you know they were sneaking people in then?
Well, I was sneaking in. We had moonlight swim.
Well, and I taught swimming and diving and life saving at the pool. And my folks my dad worked for Sinclair Prairie, and still I was allowed to come in and do that. And I went with friends, Esther Jane was one, and that was our situation, and it was always good.
How long did you teach? How long did you teach swimming then?
We must have taught about 3 or 4 years. And then Ruth was gone, and they had me come into El Dorado, and I taught swimming and life saving. But Oil Hill was an up and coming community, had a nice pool that was always well kept. It was not a large pool, but it had all depths, and it was excellent. It was round, and all around the edges, any little kid could walk around.
Sidewalks all around.
Well, but I mean the
Benches
edges of the
all
pool.
around.
Yeah, there were sidewalk all around.
The deep end was in the middle.
And the deep was in the center. Right.
Oh, there's a picture, yeah, there's a picture of the dive.
And then as you got better, you could swim on out to the center of the
Does anybody know
diving board.
why they decided to build a swimming pool? I would think that would have been fairly
Go back before my time.
expensive.
Well,
And that may be before.
well,
anybody's here.
why did they provide the utilities in their homes? Why did they build pretty good streets in this? Because it was that kind of people
golf
who were
course,
running
the
the
tennis
golf
course.
course, tennis
Because that's
course.
kind of
Miniature golf
course, the tennis courts.
Since all the way.
And they had lighted tennis courts and lighted miniature golf. And the pool was lighted because mostly we swam at night after the men were off work. And we swam on Sunday afternoon then. The pool was open Sunday afternoon and every evening. And we'd go swimming.
Don't forget the bandstand.
Yeah, the bandstand was up
Saturday
above.
night, the band would play the...
Where was the bandstand at?
Right above
The shower house.
shower houses.
How is the town run? Did they have a mayor or
No, run by the superintendent.
We didn't even have a sheriff or...
No, there wasn't any
We didn't have
running
any
of the
police, we didn't
town.
have anything like that.
It was a company town, the company ran it. All right, let me ask you another thing. She mentioned the fact that the salary.
We all had the same kind of things, yeah, our parents had jobs, we all had gardens.
And
Well,
we
you
lived
had
in the
your
country,
house
so
paid for.
we did very well because
No
my
rent,
dad raised
we
a
had
cow
no
all the
gas.
time. And
We
chickens,
We had chicken
rabbits,
house.
yeah.
Our parents lost a lot of money when the crash came and with the stock. My dad, he had common and preferred, and he lost a lot. He just got so much on each one, because he lost quite a bit on them.
Was the stock given to the employees?
Well, they paid for it, this was taken out of salary.
They were sort of required to buy this.
And I remember my dad got $98 a month after the crash came. And that was pretty good for, when a lot of people out of work didn't have anything.
That's
So
my dad.
they
my dad.
matched every 2 weeks.
But now to lose money on the stock, you had to sell your stock. If you held your stock.
If you held your stock, but you still, they just gave you a certain amount on each stock.
We didn't lose it.
Well, they were sort of required to buy this stock. And then it was a payroll deduction thing. And then my mother and dad just held their stock. They didn't sell it, and I was the one who finally cashed it about 5 years ago and used the money to go to Europe.
So you did okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I really don't know what they paid for it. And I don't know how much they might have lost, you know, because if they'd paid $10 for it, well, that $10 might have been worth $100, you know, some years later.
It was actually the Depression that was responsible for my grandfather having such a long career with city service. He had come to the El Dorado field in 1917 when it was new, and had worked in it for a while, and then he'd gone off to school and become an auto mechanic, and he was a mechanic in El Dorado when the crash came, and he lost his job and did some other things until he was able to get hired back on with city service. And he said it's the best thing that ever happened to him. He said he still might have been an auto mechanic at age 65. And the company.
You work in the big garage?
I don't remember where. No, he didn't work for city service as a mechanic. He went back to work as a roustabout for him, and then a truck driver, and then was a head roustabout and production foreman. So, but if he hadn't lost his job, he'd have retired as an auto mechanic.
Oh, okay.
So.
You got laid off. You got laid off after the Depression, or during the Depression. If you did not take another job, you'd still be on payroll. So my dad had to kind of sneak out and work for different little old companies in order to put some food on the table. But he wasn't allowed to let it be known.
Oh, okay.
Because he was still on the payroll, but he wasn't getting paid. And it was about 3 years of that.
An active employee, and then they brought him back.
That must have been special. That wasn't true of my dad.
What happened to your dad?
Well, he got laid off. Of course, he was older. He never was hired back. But this was about the time I started teaching school. And for a while, I was the only bringing in the only money that there was. And she was talking about the stock. One of the last years that Dad worked, of course, we had a big family, so maybe we weren't as full as some, but anyway, Dad asked me to buy some stock because he just didn't have the money to buy any more. And I can't remember what I paid for it, but I was teaching school at $100 a month. And by the way, I had one of the better salaries in the country then.
You did.
And
Absolutely.
I think I must have paid about $25 a month for that stock. And of course, I wasn't able to keep it because I had to sell it, later to for expenses. But it wasn't worth much. Now, wait a minute, I did keep it too. It was after I was married that I sold that stock. And we had a little depression about in 39 when we moved to Oil Hill. And when we moved back to Oil Hill.
Yeah, close-knit community that really revolved around the school.
And the pool.
And the swimming pool, and that. We had our own country club.
It was a real community.
We did.
Yes.
It was nice to know that we had a town there that did not need a police force or that. Oil Hill had its own post office, its own telephone central. Mrs. Majors was a telephone operator for a long time. And it was a well-organized community and didn't need to be policed, so that's...